a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Thomas Barfoot was a United States Army officer and a recipient of the United States military's highest decoration, the Medal of Honor, for his actions in World War II. Military career. After enlisting in the Army from Carthage, Mississippi, in 1940 and completing his training, Barfoot served with the 1st Infantry Division in Louisiana and Puerto Rico. In December 1941, he was promoted to sergeant and reassigned to the Headquarters Amphibious Force Atlantic Fleet in Quantico, Virginia, where he served until the unit was deactivated in 1943. He next joined the 157th Infantry Regiment, 45th Infantry Division, and was shipped to Europe. World War II. During the Italian campaign, Barfoot participated in a series of amphibious landings: the Allied invasion of Sicily in July 1943, the invasion of mainland Italy at Salerno in September 1943, and finally the landings at Anzio in late January 1944. His unit pushed inland from Anzio, and by May 1944 had reached the small town of Carano in southern Italy, in the province of Latina. They set up defensive positions, and Barfoot conducted patrols to scout the German lines. When his company was ordered to attack on the morning of the 23rd of May 1944, Barfoot, now a technical sergeant, asked for permission to lead a squad. Because of the patrols he had made, he knew the terrain and the minefield which lay in front of the German position. He advanced alone through the minefield, following ditches and depressions, until he came within a few yards of a machine gun nest on the German flank. After taking out the gun and its crew with a hand grenade, he entered the German trench and advanced on a second machine gun, killing 2 soldiers and capturing 3 others. When he reached a third machine gun, the entire crew surrendered to him. Others also surrendered, and Barfoot captured a total of 17 German soldiers and killed 8. When the Germans launched an armored counterattack with 3 Tiger tanks directly against his positions later that day, Barfoot disabled the lead tank with a bazooka, killed part of its crew with his Thompson submachine gun, and turned the German attack. He then advanced into enemy-held territory and destroyed an abandoned German artillery piece. He returned to his own lines and helped 2 wounded soldiers from his squad to the rear. Barfoot was subsequently commissioned as a 2nd lieutenant. His division moved into France, and by September 1944 was serving in the Rhone Valley. Lieutenant Barfoot learned he would be awarded the Medal of Honor and chose to have the presentation ceremony in the field, so that his soldiers could attend. He was formally presented with the medal on September 28, 1944, in Epinal, France, by Lieutenant General Alexander Patch. Post-World War. Having grown up in the strictly segregated South, Barfoot was noted for a comment he made in 1945 regarding African Americans. Democratic Senator from Mississippi and Ku Klux Klan member Theodore G. Bilbo asked Barfoot if he had much trouble with the African American soldiers he had served with during the war. To Bilbo's embarrassment, Barfoot responded, "I found out after I did some fighting in this war that the colored boys fight just as good as the white boys. I've changed my idea a lot about colored people since I got into this war, and so have a lot of other boys from the South." Barfoot later served in the Korean War and the Vietnam War, and was awarded a Purple Heart. He reached the rank of colonel before retiring from the Army. In retirement, he lived on a farm in Amelia County, Virginia, and later moved to Henrico County, Virginia, near his daughter. On October 9, 2009, the portion of Mississippi Highway 16 which runs from Carthage through his hometown of Edinburgh to the border between Leake and Neshoba counties was named the Van T. Barfoot Medal of Honor Highway. A building at McGuire Veterans Hospital in Richmond, Virginia also carries his name. Medal of Honor citation. 2nd Lieutenant Barfoot's official Medal of Honor citation reads, "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of life above and beyond the call of duty on the 23rd of May 1944, near Carano, Italy, with his platoon heavily engaged during an assault against forces well entrenched on commanding ground. 2D Lieutenant Barfoot moved off alone upon the enemy left flank. He crawled to the proximity of one machine gun nest and made a direct hit on it with a hand grenade, killing 2 and wounding 3 Germans. He continued along the German defense line to another machine gun emplacement, and with his Tommy gun killed 2 and captured 3 soldiers. Members of another enemy machine gun crew then abandoned their position and gave themselves up to Sergeant Barfoot. Leaving the prisoners for his support squad to pick up, he proceeded to mop up positions in the immediate area, capturing more prisoners and bringing his total count to 17. Later that day, after he had reorganized his men and consolidated the newly captured ground, the enemy launched a fierce armored counterattack directly at his platoon positions. Securing a bazooka, Sergeant Barfoot took up an exposed position directly in front of 3 advancing Mark V tanks. From a distance of 75 yards, his first shot destroyed the track of the leading tank, effectively disabling it, while the other 2 changed direction toward the flank. As the crew of the disabled tank dismounted, Sergeant Barfoot killed 3 of them with his Tommy gun. He continued onward into enemy terrain and destroyed a recently abandoned German field piece with a demolition charge placed in the breach. While returning to his platoon position, Sergeant Barfoot, though greatly fatigued by his Herculean efforts, assisted 2 of his seriously wounded men 1,700 yards to a position of safety. Sergeant Barfoot's extraordinary heroism, demonstration of magnificent valor, and aggressive determination in the face of point-blank fire are a perpetual inspiration to his fellow soldiers. Flagpole dispute. In December 2009, the Homeowners Association of the Sussex Square, where Barfoot lived in Henrico County, Virginia, ordered him to remove the 21-foot flagpole he had erected without their approval, and from which he began flying the U.S. flag regularly on Veterans Day. The HOA retained the Coates and Davenport law firm to threaten legal action to enforce their order. This news story first became public when Barfoot's son-in-law reported the story on local talk radio show, Elliot in the Morning. Then Fox News and several other news networks picked up the story nationally. The association's bylaws do not forbid flagpoles, but the HOA ruled Barfoot, then aged 90, would not be allowed to use it, for aesthetic reasons. Barfoot contested their order, and received support from the public, from the American Legion, from military groups, and from many politicians, including Virginia Senators Mark Warner and Jim Webb, and White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs. Because of the backlash and outrage it received, the association dropped its request on December 8, 2009, ending the controversy within 1 week. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?